All right, what's going on, guys? Jeff here. Today is Wednesday. And before I actually go over to the news side, I already uploaded a video on how stock split basically works and why what are some of the advantages of actually going through a stock split, especially with the whole Alphabet, Amazon, and Tesla possibly going through a stock split in the very near future. But anyway, let's cover some news today. All right, so before I actually get in on all this news over on this side, I actually want to talk a little bit about what actually happened yesterday in terms of the stock market price movement, because we started to see a little bit of a risk on movement, like a transition away from the risk of assets. So the thing is that people are now starting to feel a little bit more risky, especially with the whole AMC and GME sudden hike up. Okay, of course, yesterday there wasn't a huge movement with AMC and GME, other than the fact that at the first few minutes they actually went all the way up and then all the way down. Okay, triggering some trading halts for some of the names. Okay, AMC actually went into a halt after a very long time. The last time we ever heard of AMC going through a halt was back in 2021, about March or so as well. So yeah, you can kind of see that it has been quite some time since we actually seen some form of a volatility halt that's been happening for the meme stocks. Okay, but anyway, let's go ahead back to the news. I want to try to get this news out quick as I can. Ukraine Russia is holding top as Zelensky criticized West on sanctions. So yesterday we actually received news on the fact that there were, well, not really ceasefire talk, but there are going to be a lesser, like a minimizing of arms around the borders in Kiev. That's according to what Russia is saying in the discussion that's happening in Turkey. But of course, nothing is confirmed. And right now, what is actually happening is that, back to this again, Russia sees no breakthrough in peace talk. And of course, this is going to be scaring a lot of the people who are still very worried about actual consistent war concern, which is also something I always talk about to you guys as well. I do see that this war is not going to be ending super duper quickly. I don't see it ending in the next week or so, but maybe in a month or two. I do hope that Russia would kind of basically just come out to just be like, okay, you know what? Just let us control the Donbas area, and we'll just call it quits. And I do think that would be, well, I don't really want to call it the best case scenario, but I do think that is what is most likely going to be happening. They'll probably take over the Donbas area. I think it's Donbas, and I forgot the other name, and I kind of don't want to butcher it either. So, yeah. That's the eastern province of Ukraine. And I do think that is what they'll be going through towards that side. But of course, with what is happening in Kharkiv, Kiev, and Mariupol, of course, people are still dying. And I'm not really doing as much updates as it is right now, because they are always going into ceasefire talks and nothing comes out of it. I don't think that there's much for me to actually make content about it, okay? So let's move on to Biden. Okay, Biden's global quest for oil trigger political pushback. And okay, because let's be honest here, with how much Biden is trying to go for oil, be it finding various other sources of oil, alternate sources of oil, this is actually kind of pushing back the whole agenda of let's go to full electric by 2050, guys. That sort of deal. Okay, a lot of people did expect Biden to be, well, how democratic the Democrats are. They kind of want to go towards the side where they are more pleasing to the people who want with climate change issues being settled and such. But the more that Biden is actually pushing for oil to come back, or even finding alternate energy sources to substitute oil, he's actually kind of going against the other side, where people are thinking that, oh no, are you not going to take care of the climate change issues now? And of course, this is going to be a very hard thing for the president to really do the balancing for. And I totally understand why. So I don't think I'm going to be blaming Biden for this. I just think that his tax was basically just him pandering. I don't know, just my own thought. All right, now Biden aside, let's talk about this. Robinhood is now offering extended trading hours looking at 24/7 trading. Okay, this is huge. Okay, this is huge. And people who asked me before, and like, isn't Robinhood a bad company because they use payment for order flow as such? True. Okay, in terms of a company using payment for order flow, technically you are profiting off people's data, and you're helping the bigger companies. You're basically helping the Melvin Capital actually make more money via all our data. Okay, it makes sense. But let's not forget, today we're investing in this company itself, and we need to look at this company's business model. I like Robinhood because Robinhood actually provided the first contact of trading for a lot of Americans. A lot of Americans, for the first time ever, especially in 2020 and 2021, throughout the whole entire GameStop saga and AMC saga, people started creating accounts in Webull, in Robinhood, in public.com. I don't care. Okay, but all of them actually basically touched their first base with trading via these apps. And Robinhood was a huge one of them. Okay, Robinhood was really strong on marketing, giving out 5 free stocks. And if you want your free stocks, link down below to Moomoo and Tiger Brokers to get some free stocks using my link as well. But anyway, for Robinhood, it's very smart for them to actually do so. And I believe that they have a good business model. Okay. And even via me looking at all the filings and all the earning report from the previous quarters in Robinhood alone, what I realized, okay, right now, I can just tell you the market cap for Robinhood right now is at $13.81 billion. Okay. This is 24% above right now. Okay. But Robinhood owns $10 billion in terms of cash and cash equivalent. Okay, so before we had this 24% euphoric run yesterday, basically when you invest $1 into Robinhood, you're basically investing $1 into $1. That's how crazy it is for people to actually get into Robinhood. That was how much of a bargain Robinhood was. And I talked about this on multiple occasions as well. I talked about how Robinhood was a good buy. I'm pretty sure I made a video about the 5 stocks that I will be getting into for 2022. Okay, and I do stand behind the 5 stocks that I actually chose, which is why I actually bought more into them. Okay, I hold Google, I hold my Snapchat, I hold my Palantir, I hold my Robinhood, and I stand behind those things. I stand behind those companies because that's what I believe in for the long term. Of course, until of course, if there are new information that arise that make me want to change my mind, then of course that's going to be another thing. But like I said before, I do think that Robinhood is a very, very good company. Okay, of course, for what they have done in the January of 2021, we understand that Vladimir did do a little bit of a doo-doo in the whole scene where they actually halted a lot of the names, preventing people from doing the trades and such. I do understand that was a very, very bad move from his side. But similarly, I have also explained to you guys as well on multiple occasions as well that I do see it from a business point of view, because they really needed to ensure that no one is doing more leverage trading on on Robinhood definitely, but like no one is doing more leverage trading using AMC, GME, your Bath and Beyond, and all those volatile stocks, because the thing is that they might actually tip over the balance between Robinhood and their clearing houses. So, of course, people are not going to let bygones be bygones. Definitely not. Those people who are very, very behind the whole egg movement or the whole meme stock movement, I would assume that 80% of them are already off Robinhood, and the people who are left on Robinhood is a lot lesser than before. Okay, and it clearly shows in all the earnings report that we have been seeing. Okay, for Robinhood, we have constantly been seeing that there are lesser users that's actually getting onto Robinhood, and also Robinhood is not pumping as much money into marketing. And also at the same time, a lot of the financial YouTubers do not really want to take on Robinhood simply because it has a little bit of a distasteful tongue for them to actually include Robinhood into the sponsorship for videos and such, especially what they did in January of 2021. All right, but something that's actually very interesting for what Robinhood actually did that actually showed this 24% euphoric run first of all, is by extending the hours, because right now they are going to be allowing their traders, who are the investors, to trade between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. Whereas before it was like 9 a.m. They were able to trade 30 minutes before market open, and like I think an hour after market closes. Now, this is going to be on par with, I think, Fidelity is also the trading under the same time zone as well, and also with I think with Chase. So this is a good thing for the company, and of course, with them actually doing this extension of the trading hours, they don't have to really go through the SEC or anything. Okay, they just have to go through their own internal dialogue and just be like, "Do we want to do it? Sure, let's do it." But something that's even more interesting in this for the headlines that I really like is eyes on 24/7 trading. Okay, so let's be honest here, 80% of all trades that's happening every single day are happening via algorithms. Okay, only 20% are actually done by people like you and I. Okay, the rest of them are basically done by algorithms from all those institutions and all those people who have programmed their entire script out to do a buy and sell orders and such. Okay, but for us, we actually look at the chart and then we do our buys and sell on our own. Okay, so actually eyeing on a 24/7 trading would potentially open up the conversation, whereas because the algorithms can just run 24/7 as well, it doesn't really make a difference. And clearly we have seen how it kind of works with how crypto market is, because crypto actually trades 24/7 as well. Okay, of course, with crypto it's slightly different because it's so decentralized to the point where there's no one that actually holds the exchange for it per se. But if those crypto exchanges are able to do so, centralized exchanges such as your Coinbase, such as your Kraken, such as your Gemini, all of them are actually able to actually do all this buy sell alert 24/7. It kind of don't prove why stocks equity cannot do the same. And because of that kind of open up a bigger conversation for how if Webull, Robinhood, Moomoo, Tiger, all of this app basically saying that we are going to be opening 24/7 trading. Of course, I do think that Saturday and Sunday, the weekends, is going to be a little bit tougher for them to actually include for the trading. But I do think from your Monday to Friday, you can easily do a 24-hour trading all the way, so, and then you can still have your whole weekend to actually have fun. And of course, if you actually do something like this, this will make me super duper tired because I will not know when to sleep. But of course, at the same time, this would also lessen my burden because I don't really have a time to clock out anymore. I can clock out earlier or later. It doesn't really matter to me. So I do think that this is something that's going to be very, very interesting for us to really look at in the future. All right, but anyway, enough of this. Let's move on to the next one. As trade with Russia halts, countries turn to Canada. I've talked about this as well. Okay, I've talked about this a lot, in fact. Okay, I've said it before because later on we're going to have an article about food shortages. Okay, with how the whole Russia-Ukraine situation is happening, we are not having enough food because we have food. We get food shortages, and at the same time we're getting potash, which is also fertilizer shortages happening as well. Okay, and all this are actually largely available in Canada. Okay, and let's not forget that also US is also getting their oil from Canada, a fractional amount, but nevertheless. So end of the day, if you actually look at it, Canada is turning out to be like a mini Russia / mini Ukraine, and I do think that actually investing into Canada's market right now would prove to be a little bit more ROI positive than before. Even like just over here, okay, we can and must strengthen our ties and strengthen the long-term partnership with a view to ensuring stability and profitability for all links in the production chain. Okay, this is not the crazy one. The crazy one is the whole world is coming to Canada. The chief executive of AGT Food and Ingredients, who buy grains and pulse crops from Canadian farmers and ship them to 120 countries. To 120 countries. This AGT Food chief executive basically just said, Yes, everyone's going over to Canada. Okay, and that's why I do think that, I'm not sure how am I going to play with this information. I'm not sure if I'm going to be investing into Canada. I'm not sure if I'm going to be investing the Canadian dollars or so. But I just thought that it's very, very interesting, because something that you might not like this, okay, which is about food shortages. Okay, BlackRock president said entitled generation now learning about shortages. Okay, so the president, Rob Capito, warned that inflation is having dramatic effects on the economy, with an entire generation now learning what it means to suffer from shortages. For the first time, this generation is going to go into a store and not be able to get what they want. And we will have a very entitled generation that has never had to sacrifice. Of course, this is a very short article, but he's basically talking about how inflation is going to hit harder, and this time this inflation is not going to hit harder based on just higher prices. It's going to be hitting harder by us not even getting the actual commodity that we want. Okay, imagine just walking into a store and not being able to get any rice. Okay, for the Asians, okay, getting any rice, getting any bread, okay, getting any pizza rolls or whatever it is. And it's a little bit scary, because even I read an article, I think last night, about how Afghanistan was also going into poverty all over again. So I do think that this war actually opened up a lot of topics that were not really well talked about, and this is going to start to really affect a lot of bigger countries as well. Of course, with like India is already being affected by this whole supply chain shortages in terms of food, oil, and such, with the article that I shared yesterday as well. So yeah, I do think that this is gonna eventually become a bigger and bigger problem, and this is going to be a snowballing effect. Okay, the more people cannot get the food, the more people will buy the food and keep the food for themselves instead of actually just keeping it there. Because what if when I want it, I can't get it? So it's better for me to hoard. So it's going to be the whole inflationary pressure all over again. So yeah, that's going to be a whole new concern for us to really look into. All right, but anyway, last news of the day. Okay, FDA clears way for millions to get additional COVID-19 boosters. So yeah, it's booster season again, okay? And I'm not gonna lie, we're probably gonna be hearing this a lot more in the future, okay? Until the fact that COVID-19 basically become just a part of everyone's body, and then they will just call it quits. But until then, we are gonna keep on hearing about the whole additional COVID-19 boosters and such. But yeah, anyway, that's all I have for this video, for today's news. And thank you guys so much for watching. And I'll see you guys